Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by these great sponsors. Axon started out of a passion for keeping agriculture moving. Imagine having 100 years of tire and wheel knowledge in your back pocket the next time you sell a piece of ag equipment. To find more or become an Axon dealer, please visit axontire.com. This podcast is also brought to you by Valley Transportation. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 or go to valleytransinc.com for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours. This podcast is also brought to you by Ag Direct. No matter how you buy your ag equipment, from a dealer, auction, or a private party, Ag Direct can help you finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving Iron.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Valley Transportation. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 for all your trucking needs at Valley Transportation. Our goal is to help you reach yours. So this week, this month, actually, I got Brad Graff and Parker Johnson back here with me from Valley Transportation, and there's I thought I'd call you guys and talk to you about trucking, but there's really nothing to talk about. It's just calm and easy going and not much happening out there right now, right, guys?
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah, okay. No, seriously, there's a lot of stuff happening right now in the trucking industry. And, Brad, as you take a look at what's going on, last time we talked, there was, we started seeing some climbing interest rates. We started seeing some things now. We got, anywhere between 6 and 7% interest rates, depending on where you're getting your money from and those kind of things. But as you're looking at that, Brad, have you noticed anything glaring right now that shows, hey, our trucking availability is starting to really kind of break free more now because of this recessionary talk we're seeing, or are you seeing the same level of business you've seen since the last 60 days?
In our market, it hasn't fallen off much. It maybe lightened up a little. It's not as pressured as it was. I know there's other markets that have lightened up a lot more than we have. The van and reefer side, like we talked last time, is softer, I think. Equipment's still moving. I mean, There's plenty of stuff out here to haul. So. Yep.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff to haul. We're waiting on stuff. The backlogs from the factories are not. I'll just leave it. They're not easing up any. This seems like It's the same pressure that we've seen there for a while.
Yep.
Parker, when you're looking at just from a booking freight side of it, the availability of trucks, are you still seeing some pressure there, or do you starting to see more trucks kind of show back up into the marketplace from the job board side of it, the freight board side of it?
Yeah, the pressure isn't nearly as bad as it was, 2 or 3 months ago. We got the availability of trucks it's out there compared to them. We're getting stuff picked up in a lot, quicker timely manner and stuff like that. But there's still a lot of stuff coming in, and the phones keep ringing, and the emails keep coming in.
Right on. Okay. So I'll throw this out to both of you. So I've read and talked to and seen different articles out there and those kind of things, YouTube videos, which is, it's a great place to get your news. They're talking about this DEF shortage, So I've been hearing about it for about 2 or 3 months now. The East Coast is, all but out, and oh my God, we're all, DEF shortages and this, that, and the other thing. Is there any? You guys use DEF like crazy. So is there any rumor, any fact to that rumor out there that you can tell?
Yeah, I had been hearing the same thing you had. So we were with our fuel supplier the other day, which is probably one of the largest ones in the country. So we dealt. I asked him the question, and he told me that it's all bogus. He goes, they have they have all kinds of def, and that's one thing we're not going to run out of. So he was pretty positive to say that there wasn't going to be a shortage, and a lot of this is just driven by drivers, and some driver must have went in a store that was short that day or something. So
yeah. So I see it every little convenience store I go to. I see those little 2-gallon or 3-gallon, whatever they are, those little 3-gallon jugs of Def out there everywhere. So I can't imagine that if they've got 2 or 3-gallon jugs of Def, that I can't imagine that like the Flying J's and the Loves and those kind of places like that are going to have anything other than bulk Def kind of about everywhere. So
I checked with our buyers here too, and we buy all bulk, so they just come in and pump up a 300-gallon tank for us here at the yard. So
yeah,
and, we're not having any issues getting Def. So
right on. Okay. So price of diesel, that's it's not it's still there. It seems like there's some pricing pressures have kind of subsided a little bit. I don't necessarily see the huge jumps in prices week over week over week like we've seen over the past couple of months. As you guys are looking at this and you're looking at freight surcharges and those kind of things, what are you seeing on the fuel side of it, and how's that working with your business right now?
Well, the fuel it's definitely a hindrance on our business. Mm-hmm. We're seeing it a lot with the owner operators.
Yeah.
They just can't afford to run with these prices, it's causing issues. We've had quite a few owner operators just stop and quit, so mm-hmm. The smaller carriers that don't have the discounts and the things we do in place, they're really struggling. So
yeah,
I think I was talking to my insurance guy the other day. He said he had 13 carriers the prior week that closed up their doors and just went out of business.
13 of them, huh?
Yeah, 13 is a big number, just in a week and that was just one small insurance company. So
yeah,
but we've seen it here locally. We had a carrier just north of here in Rochester close its doors. They had somewhere around 90 or 100 trucks. They just locked up.
Really, that was a big one.
Yeah. So it's causing difficulties. We can't make money at these prices.
Right.
With this level, I mean, we can't charge enough to compensate. So
right.
If we are getting fuel surcharge that comes close to meeting what we're spending on the fuel, everything else we touch is way too high.
Yeah.
Tires doubled in price, and oil's just crazy, and labor is horrendous. Everything's way out of whack right now today. So, mm-hmm. I mean, if we charge you $3.50 a mile today, we don't feel we're really making anything. So yep. It gets difficult. We're not used to these prices. That's for sure.
Yep. Yeah, it would be hard to make. Yeah. I mean, $3.50 a mile to make at $5.50 diesel, and I have no idea what DEF even costs. So I mean, I can't imagine it's any cheaper than it was. So
Yeah, it definitely makes it hard. Bidding the freight. You hate giving out them big prices, but you need to. You got to be able to pay your driver, your fuel, all your other stuff, but you still need the freight too. So you got to try and find that happy medium, and you don't want to bid yourself out of work either.
Yep. That was the other question I was thinking about too. I was driving down the road the other day, and I was going across the interstate, and about every third sign I saw there was someone advertising for a truck driving job. And when you guys are looking at that labor thing, like what is like you talked about earlier at your local community college, there was some truck driving schools that you guys were part of, and trying to get more people involved with that. But that younger generation coming into this industry, I mean, if you were to talk to them right now about it, what would you say to them about that you would get them drawn into this career?
The biggest thing is just what they can make. I mean, I think they can make a really good living, mm-hmm. Off of driving. So, that you got to find the right guy, because not everybody wants to be gone 2 weeks at a time. So,
right.
and we've got other options that keep them home and get them home every week, but those are limited, so that those ones seem to stay full more, so.
Right.
But these guys that are going out and we deliver out of Iowa and go to California, these guys are going to be gone 2 weeks before they really get routed back through here,
Right.
So
yep.
it gets, but you get those guys and that, somebody that either hasn't started their family yet or is on the other side of that and the family's gone, you can get the guys that want to just get out there and run too. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you think
they can make a lot of money and see the countryside and all that different stuff? And
yeah.
we were just talking yesterday about a driver in a meeting yesterday, and what was he going to have, like 100 and just insane amount of miles? Like, he does a great job, and salaries and his annual safety bonuses and stuff like that. Like, he's taking home a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever envision a time, Brad, in this industry here where companies like yours, you start having maybe 5 or 6 different places throughout the country where you're doing more of that 200-mile radius or 500-mile radius or whatever that radius is to kind of keep guys maybe an overnight or something like that, to where you can keep drivers that are kind of like you're talking like those local stuff. Do you ever think that's what Morphin is something like that?
We've talked about it a lot around here. I don't know that it works so good on the equipment side.
Right.
I mean, there's so many more variables to
Sure.
it. You got,
yeah.
If I'm running across the country with say a combine,
Yep.
we get 500 miles down the road. Now we switch tractors and hook a new guy to it.
Mm-hmm.
So do we switch all the chains off that rig and get back in the truck with the guy that's got it? All the tie down equipment has got to, get
Right.
sorted out, or do they switch tie down equipment because now the guy just lost all of his?
Right.
And then that's the simple part. Now we got to reorder all new permits.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You got to get all new oversized load permits under a different tractor and a different license plate number. So are you going to do that 5 times or 4 times going across the United States? It gets to be a pretty complicated deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it's going to work in some industries. I mean, if I'm hauling a load of beer across the country and all I got to do is drop my trailer and have somebody else hook up to it and go again,
Yeah.
I think it works pretty good,
Right.
But there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
With what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that, the permit side of it, because some of those, like if you have, like some states you have to have pilot cars, some states you don't.
Right.
And if you go halfway across the state and you have 2 different guys, that I could see. Plus, then you're really slowing stuff down because, how long it takes just to get 1 set of permits, much less 10 sets of permits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the efficiencies are not going to be good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so that's a good point.
And when you drop it out there, there's a good chance you don't know who's hooking up to it. It seems like, well, you just order it for the next state with a different. Well, yeah. I mean, if I drop it in Colorado and go on to Colorado or California, I might not know when I drop it who's going to pick it up.
Right.
Especially if you're busy and you got to try to regulate and get somebody through there. And
yep.
So it gets complicated.
So if you're qualified to haul a load or anything.
Yeah. That's the one thing too about that on the equipment side of it versus like the van and reefer side is, you're hauling stuff that's, 10 foot wide. I mean, you're hauling stuff that's, 16 foot tall. I mean, you're hauling all these different things where you have to understand what it is that you're doing, and I can see how that experience level of hauling equipment versus the experience level of being a reefer or a van driver. There's two different specialties, you know what I mean? It's
right.
2 different things there. So,
we might have a guy hauling a combine out there and drop it. And we got 3 other trucks out there, but none of those guys are qualified to haul that combine,
Right.
They don't know how to unload it when they get where they're going and what to do. So it puts you in a bad spot. So.
Yeah. From a long-term, long-term and short-term perspective, and either one of you can jump in here on this, but as you're looking at this where we're at now, has anyone given you guys like an indicator or some kind of a demand signal or something like that that's going to show, hey, we think this is an 18-month long thing. We think this is a whatever. Have you seen any real indicator out there that says, hey, we've kind of hit the top of this inflationary marketplace and we're going to start kind of working our way backwards here? Or what's your feel right now for the overall economy and how it's affecting the trucking side?
It's hard to tell because it changes every day.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
The past how many times we've talked, every time it's been, well, we thought it was going to get better and then it didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the truth. Yeah.
For me, I have no idea. I thought the worst was past us, but I don't know if that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're seeing, with our conversations with some of our larger customers, they're thinking they're going to be good through the second quarter of next year. Mm-hmm. But after that, they think they see some slowdown coming, and maybe drastic slowdown. So
yeah,
I think we're still working off of that backlog that we've had right now, and people waiting on equipment and this and that. I think you're going to see some of this equipment start to get turned down as it comes in. Some of these guys aren't going to pay these interest rates, and then what happens. The yards start filling up, and things start to change pretty fast. I know we can see it on our truck side. I mean, used to be you couldn't find a truck, but it's starting to get a lot easier to find them now.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I've wondered that a little bit too, because some of the stuff that we're waiting on right now, when they were wanting to buy it, it was, X percent, and now it's, Y percent. And it's some of that, there's a lot of distance between X and Y right now. And that's kind of the thing I've been thinking about a little bit too. So yeah, so it's been definitely a crazy time. Parker, when you're right now, if you wanted to order a truck and get a guy, I mean, I know it depends on where people are at and those kind of things, a lot of variables in there, but are you still seeing that same, 2 or 3 weeks to kind of get a truck lined up, or has that short up quite a bit?
Yeah, like you said, it depends on the area, but I think, we're more in that 1 to 2 week now.
Okay.
It's definitely gotten better, and even on our brokerage department, helping the transportation side of it, they're finding more available outside trucks to help us with our stuff too. It seems like they're moving a lot more freight than they were, because some of the smaller companies don't have as much freight as we have, and they call us hoping that we do, and we have plenty of it. So I think stuff's moving faster than it was, for sure.
Yep. Brad, on the order side, when order new trucks and stuff like that, are you seeing a little more speed coming out of the factory, or are you still seeing some of the similar delays like you saw?
What we've got coming has been pretty well on time, and it's showing up when it's supposed to get here. If I'm going to order a new one today, I think we're still out 10, 11 months, so it's still got some lead time on it if you're going to try to get a new one. So
yeah, the
costs, of course, they're way up there, and then you put increased interest rates on things. It's going to slow the deal down. That's for sure.
Yep. Yeah. There's going to be when the interest rates do come back down, and you have that opportunity to come back and do some refinancing, those kind of things. You're going to have some opportunities there, but getting there might be a little harder than we thought to start with. So, absolutely.
Yeah.
Last question here, and then we'll shut it down. From the maintenance side, you're talking about oil, you're talking about those kind of things. Are you still seeing some real issues with getting just the basic maintenance stuff like oil filters, those kind of things, tires, those kind of things? Is that stuff still in short supply? And obviously the price of that stuff's gone way up, but are you still seeing an issue with those kind of things?
I think, most of it's gotten a little better.
Yeah.
It's the things that you don't use every day that say you crack a cross member frame or something. Right. And you got to order that in. It is like an act of Congress to get some of those parts.
Is that right?
So, yeah. I mean, we sat here for 4 months waiting on one piece we needed for a truck that had got wrecked. So yeah. It is a challenge to get some of those off parts. Yeah. Oil pans have been a challenge.
Really?
Clutch housings.
Yeah.
Things like that you don't order every day.
Yeah.
if you need something that is out of the norm, it's challenging.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Parker, last thing to you here. If I'm looking to book some freight, what's the one thing I should be paying attention to right now?
Well, that's kind of hard to tell, I guess. Where it's at and where it's going to is a big thing, and how much time you have to move it. I mean, if you need something tomorrow, that gets a little bit difficult. If you got a little bit of time, which, now it's summertime, people aren't in the fields doing, their tillage and planting and combining and stuff.
Yep.
So right now you got plenty of time to work with, getting stuff to you. So, it's not nearly as bad as it was. That's all I got to say, I guess.
yeah.
Just keep buying.
Yeah, keep buying. That's right. Yeah, we were talking about this the other day, and we're seeing some similar delays, and those kind of things. We're seeing some lead times still where they're at, and those kind of things, and allocations and all those kind of things that come into play. But it feels like we've hit that peak. I don't know that it could get any more worse than what it is now, but I kind of hit that peak. So hopefully on the backside of this, things will start to kind of free up a little bit, and one way or the other, and we'll see what happens there. So
hopefully that doesn't get worse and prices keep climbing. That's what I meant earlier when I said things aren't getting any better, because the prices aren't going any lower.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of the thing here, watching these prices and what they're doing. So anyway, all right, fellas. Well, any final thoughts you guys want to throw out there before we shut down the podcast here?
All good.
Okay.
I think we're good. Casey, right. Appreciate everything.
Yeah, Brad and Parker, I really appreciate you guys. Appreciate Valley Transportation for what they've done for me here at this podcast. So look forward to seeing you guys here in Nashville in about, a couple months here. So
sounds good, Casey.
Right on, guys. Parker, folks want to reach out to you and book some freight. What's the best way to do that?
Give me a call at 800-657-4910. Or shoot me an email at pjohnson@valleytransinc.com.
Right on. And Brad, folks want to reach out to you, pick your brain about stuff. What's the best way to do that?
800-657-4910, or email is bgrafe@valleytransinc.com.
It's GRAFE. So don't.
Yep, correct.
Don't put a PH in there. So
no.
Be all right. All right. I'm Casey Seymour with Moving Iron Podcast. Make sure you check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC, LinkedIn at Moving Iron Podcast, and check out the YouTube channel for all the podcasts there and the video version of that. So with that, I am Casey Seymour with Brad and Parker. Let's go to some iron, folks. Out. Axon Tire is going to have more tips, tricks, and client advice throughout the year, and in September at the Moving Iron Summit in Nashville. If you're looking to sign up for the event, please head over to MovingIronLLC.com. We hope to see you there. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 or go to valleytransinc.com for all of your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours. And no matter how you buy ag equipment from a dealer, auction, or a private party, AgDirect can help you finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com.
Moving higher in the 21st century.